The reviews are back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back, everyone, to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw Day 1 Ishii. Now, I'm not reviewing this show because of, I'm forced to. I'm not reviewing this show because I think the product is getting better. I'm reviewing this show because there's some things I really want to get off my chest. And usually I just do these in video formats, like, instead of just full-blown reviews, it's just, me picking a topic from something that took place, and then I talk about it. The reason why I wanted to bring this into a review is because I feel like there's a lot that I really want to say. I think it's just better if I just put it all in one giant package for everyone to watch and listen to. So, this is the first Raw of 2024, and the show kicked off with Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. So, I want to get this off my chest real quick. Becky can beat Tiffany Stratton, Tegan Nox, Indy Hartwell, and Xia Li, and possibly a few other younger talents that she's probably beaten over the course of her career last year. And I think she's even beaten Kiana James. I think she wrestled briefly on NXT as well, but she can do all that. But she loses to Nia Jax. And mind you, this was a clean loss, mind you. This was a clean loss. There was no outside interference. It was just Nia Jax getting the win over Becky clean. Now, some of you may be saying, well, Patrick, you've kind of made a few videos pretty much talking about how you feel that Becky should be elevating younger talent and should be putting them over, so surely you're happy about this, right? Well, Nia isn't exactly young. Nia isn't exactly young, and this win doesn't benefit Nia at all. The reason why I say it doesn't benefit her, it's because I don't care about this. I didn't care about this whole feud. This was something I never wanted. I don't see Nia Jax main eventing WrestleMania. It feels like they're building Nia up to eventually face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. That seems to be the rumor going around, that Jade Cargill and Nia Jax are going to be colliding at WrestleMania. That seems to be the rumor that I've been hearing. So basically, they're building Nia up for a match with Jade Cargill. And I tell you, Jade Cargill fighting Nia, like, sure, as a spectacle and as a moment, seeing Jade Cargill press slam Nia or do her little finishing move on Nia, sure, as a cool, epic moment, sure, that could definitely be something you would put on your Monday Night Raw, then, now, and forever intro. But as a match, it doesn't interest me. I think Jade versus Becky makes more sense. Give Jade a big victory over Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. To me, that works a lot more. But I'm not the guy running this company, am I? The reason I have a problem with Becky losing to Nia is because it's just silly. That last year, she can score wins over Tiffany, someone who could have benefited a win over Becky, Indy, who could have also benefited from this, Xia Li and Tegan. She's beaten several superstars who could have benefited over beating Becky Lynch. But the one person she puts over is someone who isn't even going to benefit from this win. You know what this win reminds me of? It reminds me of the one time when Dana Brooke beat Sasha Banks on Raw on SmackDown in 2020 before the pandemic happened. This is a moment that people aren't going to remember. Do you think people throughout 2024 are gonna say, hey, remember that time Nia Jax pinned Becky Lynch on Raw? Like, that was a hell of a moment. That's what this match means. That's what this victory means to me. It reminds me of when Dana Brooke beat Sasha Banks on the first SmackDown of 2020, and everyone had a fit about it. And everyone thought Sasha was buried, and then Sasha went on to hold 2 championship belts. And that whole victory was never, and that whole loss that she got over Dana Brooke was never ever brought up again. And that's the same thing going to be here. It's never going to be brought up again. I mean, sure, they'll bring it up within the next few weeks, you know, because, it's still fresh in everyone's mind, but definitely throughout the year, I don't see Michael Cole throughout the rest of 2024 saying, Nia Jax beat Becky Lynch on the first episode of Monday Night Raw. I don't see him constantly reminding us about that match. It'll definitely be mentioned next week, in a couple of weeks, maybe leading up to the Rumble, but after that, it'll never be mentioned again, as if it never happened. Becky Lynch will still get her title shot at WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley. And as much as I don't want Becky to fight Rhea, it just makes too much. It's just like it doesn't make any sense. It's just it's a match that fans want to see. That's what it is. It's more like it's a match that the fans want to see. It's not like Becky and Rhea have any kind of history. They only wrestled one time in NXT. Wow. One time. That's not history. Or they had a few face-to-face stare-offs. That's not history. That's teasing. I would rather do Rhea versus Becky in Australia. I'd rather have Rhea fight Becky in Australia at Elimination Chamber. And then you have Rhea go on to fight Liv at WrestleMania. That's what I feel should be done. But I'll talk more about Rhea when we get to her match. And the other thing that kind of grinds my gears is how people on social media are so delusional. Like, because many people have said that Becky never puts people over, and then the Becky fans come out of their shells. Obviously, you know, they're complaining. They complain about the loss, but then all the Becky fans come out saying, look, Becky put somebody over. People say Becky never puts anyone over. She put over Nia Jax. Are you guys for real? Becky doesn't put people over. Tonight proves that Becky does put people over. Tonight, Becky Lynch put over Nia Jax, so people can now shut up and say that Becky never puts people over. Becky never puts people over. Sure, she put over Nia Jax, but what does that benefit Nia? How does that benefit Nia in any way? And let's look at 2023 as a whole. She didn't put over Io. She didn't put over Dakota. She didn't make Damage Control. She's made Damage Control look like a piece of shit in 2022 and 2023 in both War Games matches. Didn't give them any big victories in War Games, mind you. Both times in War Games, it ended with Becky Lynch beating Damage Control. Becky won the NXT Women's Championship and Tag Team titles with Lita last year, again over Damage Control. Once again, another burial to the Damage Control faction. Becky never put anyone in Damage Control over. And then the NXT Women's title, she beat Tiffany, she beat Tegan, she beat Indy, she beat this person. She lost to Trish Stratus via interference. She lost to Zoe Stark via interference. It doesn't matter, it's still a loss. It doesn't matter, it's still a loss. She got rolled up by Bayley. Got distracted. She was arguing with Charlotte. 2023, she did not have a single clean loss. She didn't have one clean loss in 2023, but people have the gall to say she doesn't put people over. She did lose clean in 2023, man. She lost to Lyra Valkyria. Yeah, well, that's the only person I will probably... you know what? I'll give you guys that. I will only give you guys one, and that's Lyra Valkyria. That's the only one I will give you. But in my opinion, the rest of the times that she lost doesn't count, because they were not clean. They were not clean. They were all interferences. Someone played a role into helping. Someone caused Becky to lose. But the match of Lyra Valkyria, though I don't count it because it's a roll-up win, I will give that one. And say that was the only person she put over in 2023. Will Nia Jax be the only person she puts over clean in 2024? I guess we will find out. But for people to say Becky doesn't put people over, that is pure delusional. When I just ran down all of her losses in 2023, and all of them, except the one with Lyra, were not clean. She should have lost to Tegan, she should have lost to Indy, she should have lost to Tiffany, and she should have lost to Xia Li. Funny how we haven't seen Xia Li since Becky beat her. Interesting. Anyway, let's move on. We had Katana Chance and Kaden Carter celebrating their big title win. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven wanted a rematch for the titles. Please break this team up. And Kaden and Katana gladly agreed to a rematch. Swear to God, if Katana and Kaden lose their titles next week, I'm going to be livid. We didn't have more silly Judgment Day. Judgment Day have gone on from being the most dominant faction to now looking like a bunch of idiots. Like, how in the world? I swear to God, I feel like they're only doing this to Judgment Day because the fans constantly complained about the Judgment Day. Judgment Day went from being the hottest faction, dominant, to now consistently losing. Everyone always complained about how the Judgment Day always won, how they were always protected, but now things have now completely reversed. Everyone's laughing that R-Truth thinks he's a part of the Judgment Day. I'm sorry, but I don't find this comedic stuff with R-Truth very funny. Oh, where's your sense of humor, man? Oh, I have sense of humor. R-Truth's sense of humor doesn't make me laugh. I am sorry if I offended anyone if I offended anybody. I don't think R-Truth is funny at all. I think R-Truth's version of being funny is being a complete idiot. If you want funny, I can give you funny. The Iconics, they were funny. Alpha Academy, they were funny. They were funny. R-Truth, not so much. I think he's just being a blithering idiot. I don't find R-Truth's comedy funny. Especially if he's delusional enough into thinking that he's a part of the Judgment Day. I don't know how people find that stuff funny. But hey, if idiot humor is your favorite kind of humor, then I guess it's for you then. This stuff with R-Truth, it's not for me. This R-Truth stuff is not for me. And I am incredibly sorry if I offended anybody. No, I am not sorry at all. You can just leave your dislike button and tell me how wrong I am. This ends up leading to an awesome Truth reunion where Miz and R-Truth go on to defeat JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. Who the hell bloody cares? And obviously I'm not doing this in any particular order. Let's talk about the former WWE champion that made his triumphant return. They were building it up as, oh, a former WWE champion is returning. And it ends up being none other than Jinder Mahal. Really, Triple H? Really? Really, Triple H? I thought you were supposed to be better than Vince. I know what happens later. I know what happens later, but still. Couldn't you just brought out The Rock? Instead of being a massive troll? Couldn't you just brought out The Rock instead of being a massive troll? You guys thought it was Batista. Oh, look at that, we got you. We got you. Really? You want to be a troll? That's what you want to be? That's what you want to be, Triple H? When Jinder Mahal's music began playing, I was laughing. I was laughing my ass off because I thought this shit was funny. Because everybody was believing it was The Rock, Batista, or anybody else, and I just cracked up laughing. I was like, yeah, typical. That is typical WWE. Hyping everybody up to ultimately get us disappointed. Yes, The Rock does eventually come out, but I'm just saying, couldn't you just had The Rock come out instead of doing this whole stupid shit with Jinder? I've never liked Jinder. Never have, never will. This man is supposed to be the manager of Industry, and yet Triple H decides to be a troll and try to think he's funny by bringing Jinder Mahal out and then let Jinder Mahal ramble on for about 5 minutes about being an anti-American, and then The Rock comes out, supports America, does his usual, kicks Jinder's ass, and then he mentions The Rock. And then he mentions Roman. Then he mentions Roman being the head of, and then he mentions being the head of the table, and that's it. Couldn't you just brought The Rock out instead of just being a massive troll? I'm sorry, being a massive troll isn't funny. Just like what I talked about before with R-Truth. You think being funny is funny? If you think being a troll is funny, then there's clearly something wrong with you. I didn't find that funny at all. Yes, I was laughing because Jinder came out, but that's ultimately because I thought Triple H suckered everybody in into thinking some big major return was going to happen. But then when The Rock came out, my tone ended up changing to, that was so funny, that is typical WWE, to, oh, now you think you're funny by holding off The Rock and making us feel disappointed. Triple H isn't any good. He is just as bad as Vince. But hey, Triple H was given 10 out of 10 for his creative booking just because he brought back CM Punk. Yes, that is correct. People on the internet gave Triple H a 10 out of 10 booking this last year, all because he brought back CM Punk. Not a 5 out of 10, not a 6 out of 10, not an 8 out of 10, just an automatic 10 out of 10 because he brought back CM Punk. Pure, utter BS biasty. That's all it is. Just everybody kissing up to Triple H. Can't you people take your heads out of his ass and look at the bigger picture? You can like some of the stuff that he does if you want, but just giving him a 10 out of 10 because he brought back CM Punk, that's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. That's bias. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic. Then we move on. So now we move on. So yeah, and yes, by the way, that is all correct. Everything I just said with the Rock segment, that's exactly what happened. Jinder was bashing on America. Rock came out, said a few things, kicked his ass, and then the Rock teased about having a match with Roman, either at WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber. I have no idea. Possibly, most likely, WrestleMania. It's probably going to be WrestleMania. So Cody Rhodes probably is going to get robbed out of finishing his story. be better than Vince. This is such a Vince McMahon move. So now we get, in my opinion, the best match on the entire card. Well, the best women's match on the whole card. Let me correct myself. It was Rhea Ripley versus Ivy Nile for the Women's World Championship. This was a very competitive match, and I'm just gonna say it. I'm glad it was competitive. I'm glad they made it incredibly close. I'm glad they made it as fair as possible to make Ivy Nile look like at least somewhat of a threat. Give her a bit of a chance. I like that. But you see, there's a big difference here between Rhea doing this for Ivy, but doing that for Maxine Dupree. Now, I like Maxine. Okay? I'm a big fan of Maxine, like most other people. But here's the big difference. The difference is Maxine is still green. She's still very new to being an in-ring wrestler. And so when Rhea had a sloppy match with Maxine, people put the blame on Rhea. Because, oh, she's the veteran. She should be helping Maxine. That's all I kept hearing. But when Natalya beats Cora Jade in NXT, or Dana Brooke beating Cora Jade in NXT, I don't see many people complaining. Well, people did complain about Cora losing to Natalya and Dana Brooke, so they should, but a particular friend of mine defended the whole thing and said, oh, they were good matches and Cora looked strong in defeat. They're not gonna hurt Cora at all. But that same friend of mine crucified Rhea Ripley for not doing a good job with helping Maxine in that match. Yeah. Bias much. So big difference. Ivy Nile has been wrestling since NXT. So yeah, big differences between here. Rhea squashing Maxine made more sense than Rhea squashing Ivy. So again, this matchup was very competitive, a very back and forth match. Easily by far the best match on the show. Ivy came incredibly close. And another thing I want to mention here is that the fans go on about how Rhea is such a terrible champion, but yet it's only the fans online, on Twitter, that say terrible things about Rhea, saying she's a bad champion. But yet every single Raw I watch, the fans cheer for Rhea. They chant "Mommy." But yet people say Rhea is a bad champion, but not to the fans in the audience. The fans in the audience seem to love Rhea. The fans in the audience seem to disagree with the fans online. So again, more ridiculous and funny shit. This is why I say the internet shouldn't matter, because the internet idiots are idiots. They're not the voice of reason. The internet people are not the voice of reason. They're the ones that just want to do nothing but bitch and complain because they have nothing better to do. Rhea and Ivy had a tremendous match. And in the end, Rhea Ripley got the win, making Ivy look great. Give Rhea her flowers. Give Rhea her flowers. We go from one good women's match to a pretty crappy one, that being Tegan and Natalya against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. This one was pretty short. Barely cared. Didn't really care too much about this. But Tegan Nox is the one that gets pinned. Tegan gets pinned by Zoe Stark, and that's the end of that match. Why is Tegan Nox getting pinned in this team? Why? Why is she the one taking the L's for this team with Natalya? If Natalya is supposed to be elevating people, why can't Natalya be the one that gets pinned? And then keep Tegan strong? I have no idea. Because Triple H is an idiot. That's why. Now, there was another tag team match on the show. It was Imperium versus Jey Uso and Kofi Kingston. That match didn't have a winner because Giovanni Vinci got injured. So I do wish him a speedy recovery. So I do wish a speedy recovery on him. And the main event match was Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight title. Damian Priest tried to come down to cash in his briefcase, but Drew McIntyre prevented it from happening by claymoring him, and Drew nearly won the title, but he pinned the leg of Seth too far back to where Seth's leg ended up on the rope. Seth was able to recover, hit a pedigree on the table, bring Drew back inside the ring, and then hit a curb stomp on him to retain. So the show ends with no confetti because people were saying there was confetti in the arena because people thought Damien was cashing in, I guess. Delusional people, I swear to God. And also, people were saying that Andrade was apparently returning tonight. No signs of Andrade anywhere, and this is why you don't believe reporters. Another thing that I find really annoying is how I see people on the internet believing this BWE reporter. I mean, guys, this guy isn't even a real reporter. This guy isn't a real source. That guy is not even a real source, by the way. But people tend to believe his nonsense over people like Sean Ross Sapp. Sure, I'm not the biggest fan of Sean Ross Sapp either because the guy blocked me. Because the dickhead blocked me, or because I criticized him for always leaking the Raw results before every show. Yeah, that's why he blocked me. But still, it's so mind-boggling to me how people just believe this BWE guy. All because people believe this BWE guy, all because Sean Ross Sapp is saying that Mercedes Moné is not signing with WWE anymore. She may end up signed with AEW, and BWE has said Sasha Banks is going back to WWE, so people believe him and not the other way around. You see, that's the biggest problem. People just believe anything on the internet. How about you support Mercedes no matter where she goes? Doesn't matter if it's AEW, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. Who cares where she goes? If you're a fan of her, you should support her no matter where she goes. Anyway, I'm done rambling. I'm not going to ramble on about this silly shit anymore. It's really damn dumb. That's the end of this review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up. Give me your thoughts down below. And I will see you all on the other side.